Additional Chief Secretary to the Government of Assam, Sri Pawan Barthakur, Chairman and Managing Director of NLC India Limited, Sri Rakesh Kumarji, my colleague in the Cabinet, senior officers, representative from our three power company, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very historic occasion. We have in fact signed a memorandum of understanding with NLC India Limited for producing 1000 megawatt solar power in state of Assam. As has been told, NLC is a Navaratna company under Ministry of Coal, and they have a complete proven track record of good corporate governance and generating power both from coal as well as from solar. In fact, we were in touch for last few months, primarily because of complete of a separate region. In pre-COVID period, Assam peak hour power demand was 1800 to 1900 megawatt. But in post-COVID, suddenly there are a lot of activity in Assam, and now the peak hour demand has gone up to 2400 megawatts of power. So electricity demand is increasing like anything. Numaligarhor project Ahomot ohar loge loge, and there are almost 92,000 crore of industrial investment is either ongoing or it is coming, it is in the pipeline. So all this together, we estimated there will be addition of another 1000 megawatts peak hour demand in Assam electricity. So today is 2400. In 2 years of time, as per our very conservative estimate, we will be around 3500 megawatts. Now we did not know it. Our knowledge of nasile, the power sector demands will increase like this. Although our distribution network we have strengthened with lot of effort, we got lot of support from Government of India. Now also we have got another scheme from Government of India to improve our distribution networks. But the question remains that what will be the source of power? If you take power from the grid, it will cost us 12 rupees, and we cannot sell power to consumer at 12 rupees, which is next to impossible. So we got some information that Neyveli had some additional power to, and they are in a position to sign PPA. So we contacted Honorable Minister Coal, Secretary Coal, MD Neyveli, that can we get some power allocation for the state of Assam. Today, our own production is very low, but there are a lot of central government PSU which are producing power in Assam. So all together, today we are producing, or we have a PPA for almost 2000 megawatts. That's the limit of PPA. If NHPC Subansiri come, then we'll get another 500 megawatts, but that is a hydel power that will not be available throughout the year. So we thought that what is our capacity? We found that we can do a project in Kopili. So we have started that project, 120 megawatts. Another Borpani hydel project, 25 megawatts. But after that, we don't have hydel potential. So we requested Neyveli. So there is a proposal going on. Neyveli has in principle agreed us to Government of India that they might give us 200-250 megawatts of additional power from UP but that will also be subject to concurrence of the government of Uttar Pradesh, because that is again a joint venture. So while discussing all these things for last 6 months, a parallel idea developed that whether we can produce solar power in Assam. Already in Anman, Neyveli is producing solar power. So during the conversation, we got to the level that there was a meeting of mind, and we decided we are going to float a joint company and will produce 1000 megawatts of solar power in the state of Assam through a joint venture company. Paula Joshiji has blessed the idea, and today we have signed a historic MOU where 49% shares will be with the government of Assam, 51% with Neyveli, and together we are going to have 1000 megawatts of solar power in the state of Assam. So this is from the perspective of state of Assam, this is a huge occasion. I think we never thought of producing 1000 megawatts power from a single source, and so far we are only dependent on the central government PSU, because our own generation will be just 300 megawatts or like that. But today is an important departure that Neyveli is doing that with a complete almost 50-50 share contribution from both the organization, and this is for the first time we are going to set up JV and we are going to produce solar power. Of course, there are some more plans with the state of Assam so that we can increase our solar power generation. Today we have achieved one milestone with Neyveli, that is for 1000 megawatts. Prime Minister has also through ADB recently in the Government of India Steering Committee meeting in the Finance Ministry, with the blessings of Honorable Finance Minister and Honorable Prime Minister, we could get in principle clearance for another 1000 megawatts of solar power, which will be done completely by APDCL. It is a completely Government of India will give us money, and 20% we have to return, 80% they will absorb by themselves. So that 1000 megawatt EPC power, solar power will come, and 1000 will come from the Neyveli or from this JV. So with additional 2000 megawatts in the daytime, and with our own PP of 2000 megawatts for that cycle which we had, I think Assam will be in a better position for the power during the daytime. So these will also bring investment of 5,000 crores to Assam through Neyveli road, and of course through Government of India. What I am saying, for the next 1000 we are going to get another 4,000 crore. So 10,000 crore investment in solar power, 2 gigabytes of power, 2,000 megawatts. So it's a big deal if we say from the state of Assam points of view. It may not be big deal when we think about Karnataka, we think about Gujarat, because they are already a engine of growth. These are already big state. But from the point of view from Assam, 2 gigabytes of solar power to the Prime Minister dream. He is dreaming of 500 gigabytes of power, that's 50,000 megawatts. So out of 50,000, if Assam can contribute even 5,000, I think it's a big deal, but that is up to 2035. We have already on our own generation of solar power around 200 megawatts. 2000 is coming, so we'll be 2,200 in next 3 to 4 hours. I think that will be a big contribution from Northeast towards fulfilling vision of Prime Minister, that because all these powers will be green power. Now, why our power demand is picking up? So these are not isolated events. for the first time in this financial year, Assam's gross domestic product GDP will cross 5 lakhs crore. So this will be another milestone which we are going to achieve in this year. Our own budget expenditure has gone now beyond 1 lakhs rupees. So all these milestones we achieve in this year. Over and above, now farmers know that they can sell rice through MSP. Industry knows that there is a big policy shift is there. There are a lot of incentive in investing Assam. So I think that all these will, whatever our conservative estimate, will go beyond that. Now, what happened in the advanced state? They project 10 years beforehand. But in Assam, we never thought of, today we are in 2022. 2012, we never thought of 2022. And in 2022, we are not thinking of 2032. So that is the biggest issue with a state like Assam. So just now we are discussing in car with Paula Jusiji. He said whatever the political equation, somebody will come, somebody will go. But in state like Karnataka, bureaucrats start thinking about 20 years future right from today. So in Karnataka, bureaucracy has already started thinking that what will be scenario in 2042. But we are probably thinking up maximum up to 2025 or 26. I think our thinking process needs now paradigm shift. We need to visualize Assam. We are talking about Act East policy. We are talking about bringing closer to Southeast Asian countries. Suppose all these happen. Are we ready to take up the challenges? Ready to take up the changing situation? Do we have hotel? Do we have electricity? Do we have power? Do we have land banks? I mean, we are not there. Ami usor kunutore usorat nai. So aji Numoligore industry koribo khuise. Today we are thinking that land ahibo lage, power ahibo lage, but we are not thinking 5 years down the line. They will have an expansion plan where from electricity will come. So now Jugighopa we have started multi-logistic park. But if all the industry comes there, whether power will be available or there or not. Because if you are going to draw power with 12 rupee cost, then Assam economy will break. It will not able to survive. I think this initiative is a futuristic project, this 1000 megawatt projects. And I think Assam should start thinking in futuristic line because we are the gateway for the Northeast. And if all these things happen according to our PM's vision, then we will be the gateway of India for the Southeast Asian countries. So I think we should think in a futuristic line. Now, I have why I am elaborating little bit of background. In order to meet Assam growing power demand, at least in peak hour, we need solid at least 1000 to 1500 megawatts new power projects in Assam. We don't have coal to generate that kind of power. We don't have hydel potential. Now what to do? Only two options remain, that by having more and more production from Margherita, we can think of setting up 1000 megawatts thermal plant because gas is an issue, and all these gas projects we are thinking of all these 100 megawatts. So now Assam needs 1000 to 1500 megawatts of solid power. It is not bit by bit. We need a constant and solid source. Otherwise we have to go back to the 12 rupees norms. So whether we can increase production in Margherita and then we can set up a thermal project. Or if that is not possible, whether we can go out of Assam, take a coal field and develop a 1000 megawatt of power, because transporting coal back to Assam is a problem. Lot of cost is involved, but transporting power is nothing because central grid is there. So instead of bringing coal to Assam, we can bring power to Assam. So I have made a request to Honorable Minister Kohl that we can think of jointly working with Ney Valley further for setting up another 1000 megawatts of thermal plant either in Assam or outside Assam in the same JV concept, and APDCL is ready to sign the PPA, and we are going to we are going to purchase the entire power. So my request to both Rakesh ji from Ney Valley and of course to our Honorable Minister of Power to explore that option also, so that we can think of having adequate power at least for next 10 years. Green power will get during daytime will not be an issue, but we need to meet our peak hour demands. Having said that, today is a very, very important occasion. It's a 5,000 crore investment. From the investment point of view, it's 1,000 megawatts of power, and it is all about green power and a small little humble contribution towards the objective of Prime Minister in reducing fossil-based power and increase green power by 2035. I'd like to offer my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Honorable Minister Sri Prahlad Joshi ji for coming all the way to Guwahati. He has come only for this region. আপোনালোকে জানে যে এজন সংসদীয় পৰিক্ৰমা মন্ত্ৰী, when parliament is on session, it is next to impossible for him to visit any place, even not to his home constituency. And particularly during Modi ji's era, where he takes parliament so seriously, it is next to impossible. I think I have not seen face of my MP in Assam for last 20-25 days. They are not allowed to come to the state. Only when I go to Delhi, I meet them. So they are like a schoolboy. They say, Dada, we have to go on time. We have to come back on time. So on this critical time, Prahlad Joshi ji has spared his time. He came all the way. Of course, I need to mention it. I mentioned it earlier in Margherita. Margherita Coal India was also in verge of complete closure. Because you know that we have quality coal, but we did not have the quantity. And it was not very lucrative for Coal India. So when for some reason Forest Department closed down the mines, in fact Coal India feel happy. They were of the view that now at least we don't have to run a parallel establishment. Officially they said they are sad, but unofficially they said chalo ek mushkil hath se chala gaya. Lekin when we started the government, I emphasized to Prahlad Joshi ji that look, this is not about quantity, this is all about livelihood and the future of the area. Margherita was a lot of people face unemployment because of shutting down of coal operation, because it is very easy to give comment from Guwahati and from Delhi. But people who are in field for generation, they are dependent on livelihood. For them, it was a big shock. Margherita was going almost, they were under tremendous economic stress. When I last time went for election campaign, all across, right from the professor of the college to the people in the pan shop, they had only one request to me, that please revive the Coal India again. So I met Prahlad Joshi ji. He put lot of his effort, and because of his effort, we could restart the operation of Coal India. For that also, when I request Prahlad Joshi ji, he accommodated his busy schedule. He went up to Margherita, got that inaugurated, and today also he spared his valuable moment for Assam. So I'd like to offer our deep gratitude to Sri Prahlad Joshi ji, and also to Ney Valley Lignite Corporation. Of course, I'd like to offer my gratefulness for that contribution to the Chief Minister Relief Fund. মই APDCL সকলোকে, আমাৰ শক্তি মন্ত্ৰী নন্দিতা গাৰ্লুছা আৰু আমাৰ APDCL সকলোকে ধন্যবাদ জনাম. Two major projects to implement, 1000 megawatts on your own আৰু 1000 মেগাৱাট উইথ নেইভেলি I think never in the history of APDCL such exciting moment is there before them মই সৰুৰ পৰা জানা 50 মেগাৱাট 25 মেগাৱাট 100 মেগাৱাট 5 megawatt, we were discussing about them. Now 2000 megawatts is a very exciting time ahead for APDCL. I'd like to just put a line here to Bala Jusiji. The last 1 year, we have seen tremendous improvement in our power sector. All the 3 companies turned around. They made good profit. Commercial and transmission loss has come down to 16%. We are committed to bringing down to 15%. And now our almost revenue realization is 100%. Whatever we bill, we realize. And lot of investment is going there. So I think our APDCL will be able to take up the challenge. Moi APDCL ok onurodh korim je whatever help navally required from us, please extend it immediately. Our land is ready. Even we will be able to think of floating solar also, because Assam is blessed with so many wetland. So we can think of floating also. There is a new concept of pumping and storage. So we can think of, because if we deploy the pumping and storage facility, then even solar can be available to us in the peak hours, in the evening. So I'll request APDCL to explore that whether we can also do pumping and storage, whether we have that kind of water body through which you can do the pumping and storage. Hetu hole we can preserve the solar power for the peak hours also. So definitely amar Ahomor babe aji eitu eta honali khon 1000 megawatt green power সেউজীয়া পোহৰ আমাৰ বাবে অত্যন্ত এটা ডাঙৰ সফলতা। মই সকলোকে ধন্যবাদ জনাই প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়ালৈকে ধন্যবাদ জনাই মই মোৰ বক্তব্য সামৰণি মাৰিছোঁ।